Looks like a nice, it's a little sketchy, but we got the music bumping out here today. Maybe they're gonna have some deals bumping inside. Let's head to my favorite pawn shop, Cash America, see if they've got anything good. I think this is Black Ops 3, yeah. I have the order already. I'm gonna pass. How's it going, man? See ya. Can I look at this PS4 controller? Alright. The pink one. Looks like a nice, it's a little sketchy, but good shape. Did you do anything for me on that, or?
Just came out yesterday.
Okay.
Probably could do like 25 plus with 29 out.
Okay. I'll hold off for now. Thank you, though. I appreciate it. If it's still there in a couple weeks, maybe I'll come back. Wah, wah. It's alright. You can't score every time. So it looks like they got a couple new games. Nothing really worth picking up. The most interesting thing they had was they had that like pink DualShock 4. It was in pretty good shape. 27 honestly is not terrible. I was hoping I could get it down to 20. Because it just came out, they're not as willing to deal. So I'm probably gonna wait. If it sits around for a bit, I might try to grab it, because I do need another DualShock, and yeah, it's pink, but I mean, it looks like it's in pretty good shape. Otherwise, not much to write home about, unfortunately. The Gears controller's still there, so eventually I think I am going to make a play on that, because that is a good controller, and I do kind of want it, but for now, I'm good. So, one, maybe two more pawn shops to check on this game hunt trip, and then we'll see what I do from there. Alright, so it's time for a recap of everything we picked up during our pawn hunt journey, as well as the one game I picked up on Amazon. I still have a couple games that I'm waiting on picking up, and I'm probably going to do a little extra pawn hunting tomorrow, so that will be included in part 2. Because of how long these videos are when I use the game hunt cam, I typically split them into multiple parts, and because I don't want a whole episode that's just recap, because I know that doesn't appeal to a lot of people, I try to split it up accordingly. So you might see some edits that are a little jank. I'm trying to split up the recap with what is included in each part. So if you see kind of an awkward cut or not like the perfect transition, that's why. So yeah, we are going to do a recap of everything we've picked up so far this week. So we're going to start off with Chorus on the Xbox Series X. I picked this up from Amazon. I actually played some of it. It's pretty good. It's a third-person space shooter, which is not what I was expecting, but it actually plays really well. The controls are pretty smart. It feels good. It has a very interesting story. I don't completely understand what's going on, but I think the more I play it, the more I'll get it. But based on what I've seen so far, it plays really well. It looks gorgeous. So if you're into space shooters, this might actually be one you're interested in. Or third-person space shooters especially. So I picked this up for 20 bucks, which is a pretty solid price because you usually don't see this game for any cheaper than like 30 to 40. And I'm glad I picked it up because it's actually going for $36 right now. So solid pickup there. Great way to kick off the week, that's for sure. So now we're going to get to all of the stuff that I got from AZ Thrift. And I got a lot. So very quickly, AZ Thrift is becoming one of my favorite go-to places just because I keep finding stuff. Not only do I keep finding stuff, I keep finding good stuff. A lot of it is retro, and a lot of it is older retro than you see in most pawn shops. Every now and again, I'll find like PS2, Xbox era, but at this thrift shop, I'm finding cartridge games. I'm finding PS1, and I found some pretty crazy stuff that's worth a lot of money in there as well. So we are going to start off with loose games, and I put all the loose games for the most part in this binder. So if you see me flipping through stuff, that's why. So we're going to start off with Nicktoons Mlb for the Wii. I picked that up mostly because I thought it looked cool. It's an MLB game where you play with actual MLB players and then Nickelodeon characters. Sounds like a fun arcadey time. I figured, you know what, for the Wii, might as well grab it, especially because it was a $3 game. How this pawn shop does things normally is they price loose disc games at about $3 and then games with a case at $6. Now, there were a couple things that were a little different this time. She actually cut me a deal because I had a bunch of stuff. So she only charged me $2.50 per loose game, or 2 for $5 essentially, which was kind of nice. It was nice to get a discount. The unfortunate thing was I had 3 games, including a 2-disc game in one case, and she stumbled upon it. I was hoping I could get them all for $6. Instead, I got them all for essentially $11 because I was charged $5 for 2 loose games and then $6 for the game with the case, even though it's not the original case. But, you know, it is what it is. So, yeah. Anyway, MLB Nicktoons game. Looks fun. Paid $3 and that one is worth $5. So it's not a huge bump, especially because it's only a loose copy. But it's pretty lightly scratched, so it definitely should play. Could be a fun little adventure on the Wii. That's for sure. Alright, so next up, I am going to skip over the games I'm trading in because, yeah, I still technically have them, but I'm going to be trading in the Gamestop, so I'm not going to go over the values there. But I'll probably talk about them in part 2 in case I use them to get anything, although more than likely I'm just going to be trading them in towards upcoming pre-orders. So there's that. Anyway, now we're going to get to the really good stuff. So while I was going through everything, I found this unassuming CD case and saw a Dreamcast game. And I thought, I don't see Dreamcast games very often. So I picked it up and opened it up. And then I found another Dreamcast game. And then a 2-disc Dreamcast game. So 3 Dreamcast games in all, one of which is a 2-disc game. So I picked them up because you don't see Dreamcast games. I didn't know how much these games were worth. No idea. Boy, I'm glad I picked them up. So we're gonna start off with Alone in the Dark, The New Nightmare on the Sega Dreamcast. It is a 2-disc game, so as you can see, I have both disc 1 and disc 2. All of these Dreamcast games are actually in pretty good shape. There are some light scratches, but it's nothing bad whatsoever. Like, I didn't even think I had to refurbish them. They're in that good condition. So, oddly enough, the 2-disc Dreamcast game is actually the one that's the least valuable. But that's not to say there's value. So, when you look at grand total for these Dreamcast games, I essentially paid $6 for one and then $2.50 for the other 2. So because Alone in the Dark is 2 discs, I'm going to count that as the $6 game. So essentially I paid $6 for Alone in the Dark, and it is worth $31 in loose condition. That's crazy, but that's not the best one. So next after that, we have Confidential Mission on the Dreamcast. Apparently this is an arcade game made by Sega. I was looking on price charting, and yeah, there's only 2 versions that exist for that game. There's a Dreamcast port, and then there is the arcade version. So I thought that was pretty cool. I unfortunately do not have a Dreamcast. It is a console I would like to pick up at some point, but I do not have one. So I can't play these games. I really wish I could. because they look interesting. But anyway, Confidential Mission, spy game, apparently an arcade game for the Dreamcast. I paid $2.50. It is worth $40 in loose condition. Yeah. And then was the one that caught my attention, and that is Gauntlet Legends, also on the Dreamcast. Now, the Gauntlet franchise is one that's very near and dear to my heart. I played the hell out of Gauntlet Dark Legacy on the PS2. That is a game I really want to find again, even though I beat as much of that game as I could. I think I got a character up to level 99. I think I got multiple characters at the level 99. And I always used to play that with my siblings. It's a fun arcade dungeon crawler. We had a great time playing it. I wouldn't mind owning it again just for nostalgic purposes. But I have Gauntlet Legends, which is the prequel, or the game that came out before Gauntlet Dark Legacy in the arcades. It was also on the PlayStation 1 and the Dreamcast. I have the Dreamcast version. Paid $2.50, and that one is also worth $40 in loose condition. So the crazy thing is, I essentially paid $11 for $111 in value. That's pretty nuts. Not quite as good as my Epic Week, where I constantly found like $50, $60 games and paid not much for them, or got them included in a bundle. But that's pretty darn good, and this isn't the first time I found expensive games or items at that thrift shop, so strike gold again. So Dreamcast games, who would have thought? They're worth a lot, but they are. Next up, we have good old PS3. We got Pure on the PS3. I've had this game before. I don't think I had one in nearly this condition. It's actually in really nice condition. It's complete. The disc is in great shape. It is a ATV game published by Disney. I figured, you know what, might as well grab it. It was $6. It's not worth a lot. It's actually worth $8. So I gained $2 in value, but still, nice complete copy and a nice PS3 game to add to the collection. Also in that vein, we have Shaun White Snowboarding on the PS3. I already have a PS2 copy. I got it in loose disc form for like $1. So now I have a complete, mostly PS3 copy. It is missing the manual, but the disc is in great shape. I figure I'd much rather play this game on PS3 rather than PS2. So $6 for this because it has a box, and it is worth $6. So broke even. That's okay though. I mostly just wanted to add that to the collection. We also found a PS2 game, and I wish this was worth more. I was mostly banking on the fact that it might be worth more, but it is a very short-lived EA Sports franchise. There were only 2 years of this series done, and I picked up the first one, which is MVP Ncaa Baseball 06 on the PS2. So this is a college baseball game made by EA. It's in really good shape. It's complete. The disc is in perfect condition. I figured, you know what? It might as well grab it because they didn't make many college baseball games, and it's in great shape. So might as well add it to the collection. Paid $6 for this. Actually has a little bit of value. It's worth $8. Not a ton, but it's worth something. We got some more retro after that, and that is a couple PlayStation 1 games. And these are pretty awesome. So we're going to start off with Casper, Friends Around the World on the PlayStation. I don't have the manual for this one, but it does have the original case. The disc is in actually really good shape. I keep finding good PS1 games at this thrift shop, which is kind of nice. And I mean, I would love to continue to build up a PlayStation collection because of it. So that one I mostly grabbed because, again, it's a PlayStation 1 game and it's in pretty decent shape, and it's Casper, which is a movie I watched a lot as a kid. Paid $6 for that, and it is worth $5. So it's the only game I lost value on in this haul, but it's $1 and it's okay. Next we got Dinosaur on the PlayStation. This is based on Disney's 2000 film Dinosaur, which used a hybrid of CGI with live action backgrounds. It is also the movie that the Disney's Animal Kingdom ride was rethemed to. So a lot of people, when they hear Dinosaur, they think of the ride. They don't think of the movie that it's inspired by, apparently. But yeah, this is a game based on that. It looks interesting. I doubt it's great, but it was complete. It's not a game you're going to see very often, and it's in pretty good shape. So I figured, you know what? Let's just go ahead and grab it and add it to the PS1 collection. Paid $6. This one is worth $8 in complete form. So Not bad. And then we're going to end on the biggest splurge of the entire thing. So one thing I noticed when I went to the thrift shop is in the back, they sometimes hold stuff that they think is the most valuable. Now, the last time I was there were a bunch of PS4 games, and none of them were worth a lot, but they thought they were. This time, they had this little thing. Sonic the Hedgehog 2 on the Genesis, and it's a not-for-resale copy, which is kind of cool. So I saw this and I asked how much they wanted for it. Originally they said they wanted $15, and I'm like, I mostly just want it as a display piece because I don't have a Genesis. It's a cool game, and I'm sure if I had a Genesis I would love to play this on it. I just don't have one. So I was like, oh, I'll pass. Then she lowered the price down to 10. And I'm like, I mean, that's better, but again, it's just a display piece. I'm good. Right when I was checking out, she's like, hey, you want it for 8? So she was really trying to sell me this game. I'm like, you know what? Sure, we'll go for it for 8. It's a cool display piece. I'm going to put it right next to Aladdin out in my living room. So now I've got 2 cartridge games, one for the Super Nintendo, and now Sonic 2 for the Genesis. Paid $8 for this loose cart, and it is also worth $8, so broke even on that. Pretty neat.